Welcome to the Choristers. Welcome to the Choristers Lounge. Welcome to the Choristers Lounge. Come on in and sit on down. Listen as we break it down. From hymns above to songs I knew, sharing the things important to you. Come on in and sit on down. Listen as we break it down. Choristers at the Choristers Lounge.
Hello, family, and welcome back into the Choristers Lounge. My name is Brother Matthew Caldwell. Happy to be back here as your host for this 17th episode of Season 2 of the Choristers Lounge. Always joined by the engine that makes this whole process go, Brother Blake Housen, who is behind the screen, behind the scenes, pulling all the strings to bring this production to you all. So we're just thankful that you all continue to attach yourself to the Choristers Lounge, continue to be part of this journey. You all know the drill by this point. We thank you, those of you that have already subscribed to our YouTube channel. Again, that's kind of the main vehicle by which we're able to promote all this wonderful content. We also thank those of you that have attached yourselves by way of our social media platforms, whether that's Instagram or some of the other ones that are out there. Also, those of you that have attached yourself with maybe some of the audio podcasts, whether that's Apple Music or Spotify, thank you for doing that. But for all of you all, just thank you all for spreading the good news and glad tidings of joy that you're hearing and seeing from the Choristers Lounge. It doesn't happen without you, and it's not lost on us, the love and support that you continue to show toward the Choristers Lounge. So today, we are pleased to have the second iteration of our vocal wellness panel. Last year, this was a wonderful success. We brought in some individuals that have a great musical background, kind of wanted to tap into their experience, just to give us some vocal tips, just to kind of help strengthen us all, right, as singers, also as choristers, but primarily, right, as singers. Some things that we can do individually to just kind of strengthen our instrument, right? The one instrument that God gave us naturally, right? Which is our voice. So we've actually strengthened the team a little bit. And we'll talk about that new panelist here in a moment, but just to kind of refresh the team to you all. So we have Brother Sean Roberts. All hail, Brother Sean.
All hail. Good to see everyone.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you back. Then we have Saint Chantrice Barnes. All hail, Saint Chantrice.
All hail. Great to be here. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Glad to have you back as well. Then we have Brother Maurice Blackmon. Glad to have you, sir. All hail.
All hail. All hail.
Yes, sir. And welcome back. And then making her debut into the Choristers Lounge onto this beautiful vocal wellness panel is the one and only Saint Rachel Madison. Saint Rachel, all hail.
All hail, everyone.
We are so happy and so glad that you have decided to join us and carved out a little time for us here this evening. So we're just excited to invite you and welcome you into this wonderful conversation. And just kind of, I'm going to start with you because this is your first time. I wanted to kind of pose the same question to you that I posed to our other panelists. Just take us, not necessarily a question, but bring the audience a little bit closer into your musical journey, right? Your musical resume. But I told the panelists before, it's not a brag when it's fact, right? So you have a great musical lineage. You have kind of walked through the schools of academia when it came to, musical education and things like that. So just take us on a little journey as far as you would like to take us back into your musical resume. So the floor is yours for that.
Absolutely. Thank you all for the opportunity to have me on this panel. My musical journey starts back in high school. I was 14, going on 15. I attended the Philadelphia Creative and Performing Arts High School in Philadelphia, right on South Broad Street. And that was what they used to call a magnet school. So you had to have a major to attend. And my major was music, vocal music. And I started off auditioning as everyone did, got in, and basically that's where my training started. So, first sight of a piece of sheet music, first piano lessons, all of that started at Kappa, as we called it. I was under the direction of, her name is Dorina Morrow. She was my vocal coach. She was my music instructor for the 4 years I was there. And I was privileged to be a part of a lot of groups in high school. I don't know if you remember, Brother Matthew, I was in all city choir. We
I
performed
remember.
with the Philadelphia Orchestra. Every year, we were a part of Tinley Temple's Messiah every year that they hosted for the Christmas gatherings. And it was a beautiful introduction. I learned a lot about my voice. I started as an alto too, which was very low for me coming in, and it was so surprising that by senior year I became a mezzo soprano, where home has been for the duration. So it was quite a journey, but realizing how versatile my voice was and understanding what I could do with it was amazing to me. I always knew I could sing, as you said. I have lineage on both sides of my family. Both my parents can sing. My dad got Brother Duke, the strong bass voice. Then my mother got the beautiful baritone voice, and I was blessed to be able to sing. So knowing that I could sing and then understanding or being introduced to how I could use my voice was the start. And at that time, I wanted to pursue a career in music. Everyone on this panel knew, what I wanted to do coming right out of high school, going into college. I had auditions for so many places, New York University, all the elite, colleges. And I ended up at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, which is not known worldwide for their musical department. However, they were number one in the state of Virginia, which I did not know. And there I studied vocal performance with a minor in opera studies. And I didn't really pick up the opera side of things until my sophomore year in college. And that was a totally different world, a world that just was so beautiful to me. I fell in love with it. I learned even more about my voice, but just the beauty in music itself, and understanding how much I just loved to sing. But I loved to sing classical music. It's just something about the genre that just, it can make me angry, it can make me cry, it can make me upset, it can make me excited. Like, how can I have all these emotions with this one genre of music? And that is where I studied even harder. I got more into pedagogy, which is the study of the actual voice, and just understanding what I was doing inside more so than just what I was projecting. So that was very big for me. And, studied that for a little while. And that's kind of where I just left off, just understanding, the beauty of the music and still using tools today. I haven't picked up a piece of sheet music in a few years, but it's kind of like riding a bike. Once you know it, it never leaves you, right? So that's pretty, much the background of my journey. Of course, I've been singing in church all my life.
Yes.
Love to sing for the Lord. Will always sing for the Lord. The best choir is the Church of God and Saints of Christ. So that's pretty much my journey into the professional side of music.
That was beautiful, Saint Rachel, and you mentioned the High School for Creative and Performing Arts. There are there any famous alumni that came out of that school?
Of course. Boys to Men, they went to Kappa. Jasmine Sullivan, the Roots, they went to Kappa. Those are pretty much the top three that I know of. There are some others, but they are well known, still repping Kappa till this day.
Absolutely.
Yes, for the vocal side of things. And of course, you have different dancers and instrumentalists, but
Yeah.
yes, those are
Yes, ma'am.
yes.
Yes, indeed. So thank you so much for that, Saint Rachel. And just we already know just your contributions to these conversations today and moving forward. are going to be so valuable. So just kind of overall topic today. We just kind of wanted to, kind of open the floor to you all just in terms of some vocal tips for the choir at large, right? And then for individuals specifically, right? So the way that I'll kind of pose the question, you all can kind of take it whichever way that you want to go. What are some things, and we'll start on the choir side. What are some things on the choir side that we want to continue, right? Maybe some things that we want to start to do as a choir, and maybe some habits that we may want to refine or maybe even take away. All right. So just anything that kind of comes to mind in that realm, specifically on the choir side for now. So does anyone have anything that kind of comes to mind to start the conversation?
I would like to talk about rehearsal. The prophet brought Tuesday night choir rehearsal for the singing Levites, and I think it's very important that we continue our weekly rehearsals, whether it's convenient for Tuesday night or for Sabbath afternoon. I know we don't speak about it as much on a local level or on a general level to do more locally, but it's very important. I don't recall ever a time while I was in school, whether high school or college, where I was not rehearsing every day. So being that we gather once a week, we need to rehearse at least once a week. So I'll pass the baton on that note.
I absolutely agree. I don't know if I'm getting myself in trouble here, but I do believe in the importance of rehearsal. I just know that any group I've ever been in outside of the Church of God and Saints of Christ, rehearsal is a way of life. It's a commitment you have to make very early on from the beginning, and you stick to it. When I was singing with the ASO chorus, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but we met, and this is a group of completely amateur singers. No one got paid for this, but we met every Monday evening from 7:30 to 10. But on a performance week, during a performance week, Monday was the regular 7:30 to 10. Tuesday was 7 to 10:30. Wednesday 7 to 11. Thursday night opening night. I mean, we went opening night Thursday night, Friday, and then Saturday. Like it's every single day of that week, and it's just a commitment that every single one of these people made. I think that one of the things that we maybe discount as singers is that with enough practice, like you can get better at anything. You can really get anything.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes we shortchange ourselves
Yes.
with what we can do, but we haven't put in maybe enough effort.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in there because I think what Rachel and Chantrice are speaking to, like, it steers me to a broader topic around work ethic, right? And we're all families here and talk.
Sure.
Like, we have to improve our work ethic when it comes to our singing. And I think this is something specific and very nuanced, like culturally for us. I think what we have musically is very unique. It is ours, it's beautiful. And sometimes the uniqueness of it and how niche it is, it might give us the idea that it does not require refinement and that it does not require our effort to make it the best version of what we've been given by Prophet Rowdy. And I think that is where we have a missed opportunity. And I think both Rachel and Chantrice have alluded to that. We have to embrace working. Great singing is not just something that we inherited because we have this musical lineage that is so uniquely Kagasak. Yes, we do have that, and it will be a reflection of whatever effort we put into making it the best that it can be. And we need to embrace that conversation.
Sure.
We want our music to be great. It will be great when we make it great, and only then God will honor our efforts.
The effort, yeah.
And we have to get our singers comfortable with working hard at singing instead of this idea that it will be innate or default.
Like it's a natural thing.
That's what I have to give. No, we about to sit here and we're gonna hash this out and work on it until it's better and until that we're requiring, and I think we have to build that muscle in our culture. That's
Yeah. I have a biblical reference for that. So sorry. So sorry, Mo. But what came to mind when Sean started speaking was the parable of the talents.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm sorry, it's just kind of like you start with an innate gift, right? It's your responsibility to nurture it, to hone it, to invest in it, and to give God a return on that investment, right? So it's just like you can kind of just sit on the innate gift that you've been given, but it won't grow.
Right.
Yep. And I would just add to that, some of my favorite experiences in the choir are preparation season for a concert. Choirs tend to sing all of our repertoire better while we're prepping for a concert. I remember 2016 in Newark Tabernacle, preparing for the My Spirit Says Yes concert. We were singing down. There would be like 4 or 5 of us on the Sabbath, and folks, I mean, everybody was just coming with everything they had. We were doing AM rehearsals at 7:30 in the morning before I Love never sounded so good, I would say. So yeah, I think, and Elder Carey has used the language of like coming up with a musical program, not just, winging it and showing up to rehearsals not prepared. I've seen Matthew and Raquel leave rehearsals and they've spent time preparing, thinking about their singers, thinking about their music and how to bring it all together. I'll just add that.
Ooh, I have something to add.
Yes,
to
ma'am.
that. So sorry. On the subject of rehearsals and being as the head of the rehearsal, right? As the person leading the rehearsal, coming prepared. One of the things that I learned from other groups that I've been in is you can even incorporate into the warm-ups that you plan for that day. If you know you're working on a piece of music and there's a particularly difficult part, if there's a tough interval, if there's a tough phrase, incorporate it into your warm-ups.
Yeah.
Give people, that advanced chance to kind of get it under their skin, under their fingers. Like, practice that interval. Like, sometimes we have to break things down into smaller pieces, right? And I know that we're very, very used to practicing, okay, let's sing this entire verse all at once, and then let's repeat the verse. But sometimes it's not the entire verse that's giving me problems. It's this one interval, or it's this one phrase, or it's this one rhythmic pattern.
Yes.
So let's go over that until we all have it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean. I see the wheels turning.
Yeah. So, ditto to all of that. I agree with everything that's been shared thus far. I think something else, when we talk about our choir singing as an organization, that we have to do, this may be a push for choristers, right, who are curating what our music sounds like from Sabbath to Sabbath, from gathering to gathering, etc. We have to cultivate a relationship with what we're singing. And it is one thing to sing the notes, right? And to know the notes and the parts, and that's a conversation also that maybe we should circle back to saying that. But it is a very weighty responsibility, and there are choristers here that can speak to this. Matthew, Mo, Shani, I know y'all know this because I've seen you all execute on this. What's happening with the music is your interpretation. It's your ministry.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How the music is sung is a reflection of how you've interpreted that song
100%.
based on a cultivated relationship that you have, right? That you exercise the voices of the choir to minister to whoever is present.
That's right.
And I think it has to be intentional. You can't just be doing whatever. And I don't say any of this to be to be, I'm being
Not at all.
like,
sure, yes, sir.
It has to be intentional. There has to be a why. Why am I repeating this? Why am I singing this? Why louder here? Why softer here? And that requires an understanding of what we're singing. And that understanding, the chorister has to have it. And in that rehearsal time, the chorister should be grounding the choir in that. Because that informs how the song is sung. I think that's really important. I think, like, gone are the days of singing to sound good. Like, that's what the technical work is for. And that has to happen. But, if we're singing in our ministry religious setting, there is a deeper purpose of what we're doing. And if we're not aligned on what that is, we might meet the mark, but chances are we might not, right?
A step beyond the technical.
Chance.
Yeah. Can I just
go for it? Go ahead. Yes, sir.
I would love to add to that. Sean, I appreciate the language of like relationship with the music. I think that is a huge part of the chorister's role. In addition to the chorister having a healthy relationship to their singers.
Yeah.
I think knowing, and really it's everyone's job in the choir, I would say, but specifically the musical director at the time, knowing the strengths and the growth areas of your singers is important. There are just certain songs that, and I get that, like, we have the kind of faith community where I can go to South Africa, be asked on the spot to conduct, direct a song, and I won't have as much of an opportunity. But when it comes to like local singing and the local tabernacle, or if you're just with a choir that you're familiar with, there are songs that I know if I'm ever in Philadelphia and I have a chorister's rosette, I'm going to strike it up because I have some of the better altos in the kingdom. Or if I'm in DC or Wilmington, I know that I have a soprano staff that is second to none, and I will choose certain songs based on that. I think that, in addition to you having a relationship with the music itself, is really what inspires your singers when they feel like you're taking care of them. When you don't, there are some times where I will raise things and I'll look at Chantrice's eyes and be like, okay, that was not the movie. Got it. You know what I mean?
And I'm gonna let you know.
Relationship.
Right.
That's an excellent point. Actually, I was a head soprano for a very, very long time, and one of the things that one of the habits that I got into is when the chorister gives me a cue, whether it's a pitch, whether it's to go to the next verse, whatever, to repeat something, I usually give them some sort of visual cue that I heard, understood, that I'm with them. Even if it's just a nod of my head. I'm with you. I hear you. I'm with you. I got it. So that communication back and forth is extremely important as well. And yes, I will let you know if Mo, what are you doing? But on the subject of relationship to the music, a question popped into my head. A question for Rachel. When you were in school, and as a vocal performance major, were you ever tasked with like creating like a profile for one of your characters?
Sure.
Guys, this is a thing. Okay, so as a singer, especially if you're singing an aria from an opera or something like that, if there is any character attached to it, and even if there isn't, even when I was singing art songs and just songs that don't come from an opera or a show or something like that, my voice teacher would literally ask me questions like, all right, so what did your character have for breakfast this morning? What do they wear? Like who is this person that you're portraying? And I think that there is something to that. It gets you into the mind of connecting with the character of the music. And I understand we're not usually in the habit of thinking of the music that we sing having characters. But there's some way that you have to find a connection to this music. You have to find a way to see yourself in that text, whatever the text is. We used to have to study the text If it was in another language, you have to find the translation.
Yeah.
Come up with a translation, and it's super important for you to understand what you're singing. And here's the thing: I don't know if we see the importance of that so much when we're singing in our native language, but the same thing applies. Do you really understand what you're saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah. So I think the prompt was like our choir singing, and there's a lot that we're doing well, and there's a lot that we can.
A lot of growth opportunities. Yeah, like most said. I like
that we can push more, that we're kind of doing, that we're doing in iterations or in pockets. So, I think something that's really important when it comes to choir singing, and Chantrice does a great job of talking about this often, like thinking about it as ensemble singing, because that is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is also a cultural thing that we got to think about, and that we can. It's a very like tangible course correction. We just have to grab it, reach out and grab it, right? Please. So we have to, choristers and singers, like, we need to know our parts.
Agreed.
And let me be very specific about what
I was going to ask you. What parts you talking about?
Not just figuring out what harmonizes. That is not the part, y'all. Because how can you sing together with your section if a part has not been identified? How can you create an ensemble sound if everyone is figuring out what their part should be on their own?
Flying by the seat of their pants?
I mean, come on. Like, choristers in rehearsals teach the parts. We're all family. We can be
Amen
and blunt here. You have to, if you don't know the part.
Because that's where I was going to interject. If you don't know the parts, lean on those. Either learn it or learn on those that do. It's okay to use the singers as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Like you said,
Get with the people before rehearsal, and you know the part.
Yes.
By the time you're in rehearsal. We got.
So you can teach the part.
Well, you can't teach what you don't know.
Each one, teach one. Yes.
You need to. It requires work, and sometimes as the person in charge, as the person leading, you have to do the work before everyone else is working, so that you can prepare to work everyone else. It might not be easy. We have to stop with, like, there's no shortcuts to this. And if you're getting in rehearsal and hoping people to find their parts, you're leaving a lot of room for error. But what I am sure you are doing is you are eliminating the possibility for ensemble singing. Once we know our parts, right? Come on. There's no need for there to be 3-4 versions of a part. We like to fill in the sound so much, and we're letting people do that in situational ad hoc ways, and we're not getting ensemble sound. So let's start with learning the parts, and then once we've learned the parts, we can focus on blending and sounding like a section. And so, and we can move away from the culture of listening to hear a person, right? Well, I heard you today. You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. Not, yes, there might be little, ornaments to the music that some people do. That's part of our culture. We're not going to lose that. But when everybody's doing it, and you listen back to them recordings, you tell me what you hear.
So you hear a lot of individual singers and not a choir.
Can I add to that? We're just talking at this point, right? So this is part of the don'ts that I wanted to talk about tonight. To piggyback on what Sean just talked about, sometimes we are over singing, right? Where you said you can identify a voice very distinctly, whether it was recording and the tape recorder was in your pocket. It's just to a point now we are over singing, and that is not wellness. That is not helping. I know we want to sing to the power of glory comes down, and sometimes you may just be caught up in the spirit. I get it, because I've been there too. But it's like, are we singing to accommodate the building? Sure. Are we singing because I can no longer hear myself because the singer behind me is singing too loud? So I feel like I have to sing louder. It's over singing. And something my grandmother used to always say, sing pretty. And what she meant by that, Granny Bibbie said, sing pretty, because God deserves a beautiful ensemble
Yeah.
sound. God wants good praise. God wants to hear beautiful melodies. And
Hmm.
if we get out of the mindset of I have to, I just don't just sing. Just
Yeah.
sing. Just sing.
Can
Yeah, my
I
thing is
can I
louder is
add to
not
that?
better.
It's
That's
not.
And
right.
we're all
Sorry,
guilty
Mo.
of it. Sometimes it's me. Like sometimes I have to remind, like, and it's why it's so great to have other folk in your section that you can count
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
on. But then it's like, oh, we
Yes.
can work together to create a
Hmm.
sound for this section. And I know sometimes
Absolutely.
that's harder in certain tabernacles where there might not be a section, there might only
Right.
Right.
be one putting down a voice. So I
Yeah.
know, that there are situations that make it harder, but we have to at least have the aspiration to sing
Hmm.
together. We got to get rid of
Mm-hmm.
this hear me mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Not good
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
our sound.
I also feel like, just generally speaking about a cappella music, typically we are tuning to the basses. Typically,
Should be.
oral singing, when you're doing a cappella, meaning like if the basses are a little sharp or flat or if they're right on the money, you actually should be tuning to them so that the sound is cohesive from start to finish. And I think that requires, and the word blend. The pedagogical approach at Penn State was listening. We didn't use that word, but we said, if you're listening across the choir, once you have done the work, you know your part, then you come to rehearsal to learn everyone else's part. It's not necessarily about you displaying what you know, but the music making actually begins once you've done the individual preparation, and coming to a rehearsal or even in service and listening across the choir, it will give you some cues to pay attention to. Like if I am a
Absolutely.
tenor and there are three of us and then four altos and all seven of us are singing the same part, maybe I don't have to blow my voice out this Sabbath. Or maybe I can move to baritone because that part isn't,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? It's about, and when you're able to listen, it's about being in the moment while also thinking ahead. I think you're able to do that when you're paying attention across the choir.
Yeah, there's a level of sensitivity and awareness that goes into it, right? So you're not just being sensitive to what's around you, but also being aware, right? It takes a certain level of awareness to realize, okay, there are seven altos today and two sopranos. Maybe we should back off altos, or instead of you know feeling like the sopranos need to give more to
Mm-hmm.
balance a larger section. Um, those are the kind of things that we should, that we could be more sensitive
Yeah.
about. Um, and I think that, listening, of course, always listening is a big thing. I've heard a saying that if you can't hear what's going on around you, you maybe can bring it down a little
Yeah.
bit. Um, More to what Rachel was saying, that sing pretty is a thing. And I absolutely I had a choir director when I was in college who actually said on more than one occasion, in terms of volume and effort and just energy, when you're giving 100%, the quality goes down. You hold a little bit of something in the tank, right? And the quality goes up. So you actually have to not sing at full capacity, full effort, full volume, all of that. That's where the singing pretty comes. The the ability to kind of hold something back or to
Yeah.
reserve something,
Yeah.
some percentage
Yeah.
in the tank, right? It also helps in varying dynamics. I think it was Mo who said something about, maybe this part should be a little bit louder. Maybe it makes a little bit of sense for this part to be a little softer. I also sometimes think about how, going back to the point about understanding what you're singing, there are some songs that we sing, and I'm like, yeah, guys, if you listen to the words, if you listen to the melody, the harmony, like this is a love song. Maybe we're singing a love song to God, and we're singing heavy metal.
Mm.
Heavy metal is crazy.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Heavy
Mm-hmm.
metal is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. 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 And this has been a great, and I liked everything that you all brought. So from the standpoint of, of a chorister, lounge family, sometimes we have to be okay being lovingly critical of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
It's okay, right? Now, I think somebody was talking about, I think St. Rachel was talking about, listening back to some of those recordings, especially some of those recordings from the common era, I'll call it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And if we're being honest, we need to be honest with what we're hearing, right? And really kind of making adjustments as we need, as we to make it. In the hope we're all there. We understand we're all there for, we're trying to not just minister to people, we're trying to minister to ourselves as well, right? But we also have to understand the responsibility that comes with all of that, right? The responsibility that we have to minister, and the responsibility that we have to the music itself, right? Trying to put ourselves in the mindset of the composer, trying to put ourselves in the mindset of the spirit of the day, trying to put ourselves in the mindset of the people that walk through the door, and trying to navigate through all of those things, right?
My Lord.
The cerebral part, and so we're talking more so about the course, but most of it's about all of us as singers as well, right? The cerebral part of this thing is sometimes the part that we don't necessarily consider as much as we should. Right, we really need to be here as much as we are emotional and everything like that. That has its place, right? The emotion of it all, the spirit of it all, but the real thinking about this whole thing and how we're going to be responsible to the music, responsible to each other, and responsible to the overall spirit of the day. I think that's very, very much important. Now, kind of changing things a little bit, when we're talking about us as individuals, right? What are some individual things that we need to look into as far as maybe our preparation as singers, maybe as far as our responsibility to the music? What are some things that kind of come to mind as far as us being the best version of ourselves when it comes to the choir?
I'll jump in and say, for me, for someone that hasn't professionally studied in a while, my goal every day is to sing, whether it's humming, and I'm not talking like just like Mary had a little in, or singing Sesame Street to sing Ava. I'm talking about singing something, and it's important for my spirit to remind myself that, one, you haven't lost it, it's still there, and as we talked about, the natural talent that God gave us, we have to use it. And I keep using this analogy, but it is like a bike. It's like, once you haven't ridden a bike for 10 plus years, if you get back on, you may be slow at first, but once you pick it up, you'll continue. And for me, I have to continue singing. I can't lose that. So whether it's in the shower, it's a sentence, it's a song that comes to mind. I do a lot of humming for the wellness of my voice, because it's ever changing, right? As you get older, it continues to change. But for me, I know you can't just sing on Saturday.
That's right.
That's not going to work, right? And even if you rehearse on Saturday now, and now you're singing on Saturday, what are you doing Monday through Friday? Are you, because you're utilizing your voice. We talk, every day. So we have to sing every day. It's important. And I don't mean over singing or doing something out of the normal, but just something to get it tuned up, to get it warmed up. So that's very important for me.
Amen.
I agree. That was actually the first thing that I was going to say. You have to be using your voice.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a singer,
sing.
Call yourself a singer, and you only sing in Friday, maybe Sabbath day, or Sabbath day, maybe Friday. I don't know if you should tell yourself that. And I say things. Don't mind me. Y'all know me. I'm just. If you a singer, maybe
Sean, we love it.
Mary Clarence said you're supposed to be a singer, girl. Then you need to be
Come
singing.
on, you better sing.
All right now. I love that. And it's absolutely true. Just as true, as a singer, you also have to learn when not to sing.
Absolutely.
And I think we have to know when not to sing. Silence is just as important as the sound that you're making. And when you feel yourself getting tight, when you feel your voice getting tired,
Right.
when you feel it getting raspy, when you feel yourself coming down with a cold or something like that, just it's in your, not just in your best interest, but it's your responsibility, it's your duty to your voice. I know that a lot of us, especially in church environments, like we get a lot of outside external pressure, right? Right? Especially, if somebody loves your voice, it's just like we need to hear you, we need you. Okay, but that's not what's good for me right now.
That's right.
And I don't know if you've been in this, this predicament, Rachel, as someone who's mostly singing the harmony, maybe singing, melodies sometimes, but it's not our responsibility to carry or to balance the entire choir. You're one singer. It's not your responsibility. Don't let anybody bring you to believe that it is. No choir exists off the back of one person.
True.
Yeah.
I would just add to that, and maybe this is something that we can think about in terms of what individual singers can continue to do, because I do experience this with singers. Just be encouraged to learn other parts, not necessarily because you will have to sing them, but when you know more than your part as an individual singer, you have better context for how your part actually fits in. And what I mean by that is, as I'm slowly making my way back into the choir, I am deciding to sing bass, because learning the bass part gives me a entirely new appreciation for a lot of our music. One, because I didn't realize, like, basses, y'all really, in terms of rhythm and intonation, y'all really hold things together.
Absolutely.
And in my younger brain, I always envisioned the sopranos being the leaders, but in our genre of music, the basses do a lot of leading. So I'm actually rediscovering some of our music by learning the bass parts. Shout out to Blake and Ray, who for about 20 years wrote all bass parts for all the songs that I arranged or composed. They should be my co-composers.
Okay. I love that. I have actually a lot to add here. I'm trying to be mindful of airspace, but I'm just going to give it to you guys.
Come on through, Sean. Let's do it.
When it comes to individual singers, and I think this is especially true for soloists or aspiring soloists, for one, and this is something that I've learned in recent years, and I've been singing for a long time, and just in recent years am I getting this. I've learned to be very careful about how I speak about my voice. The things that I say about my singing, the things that I affirm out loud or in my thoughts about my singing or my voice, I am much more careful now than I used to be. And I think that's as true with your voice as it would be true about anything else, right? The power of the tongue, like the power that we have to manifest our realities by what we think and what we say. I have been applying that to my singing.
Yeah.
And I think that's been an important journey for me personally, as I've worked to take more ownership of my artistry when it comes to performing maybe outside or and things like that, and my ministry when it comes to like the singing that I do from a church setting. I have learned to really see that as mine, something that God gave me, and I have been building more ownership and agency of it by how I think and speak about it. And that's something that I would offer to singers, especially, there's a lot of pressure that comes with, especially solo singing. There's so much pressure. There's so much internal criticism. There's external criticism, right? There's perceived criticism just because of how you feel about what you did. And you have to combat that intentionally with something positive and with something affirming, because it makes a difference in how you show up. And that's something that I really would offer to singers, especially young singers, especially solo singers. Be mindful of what you say about yourself and about your voice, because it does matter. Now, I got a lot of stuff that's on my mind about solo singing and solo singers, and especially when I think about young singers. There's so much talent. in Kakasak. My God, there are so many talented people in this generation and former generations and generations come. Like, I am honestly often in awe of the talent. And so another journey that I've been on when it comes to myself as a singer, or specifically within the context of Kagasak. And I want to make sure I say this in a way where the impact like matches my intent here. It is nice to sing and for people to think that it sounds good. That's wonderful. It is well received compliments. It's encouraging. It has its place. But for singers that are singing in this setting, where it's ministry, you're gonna get to a point. I hope where the goal shifts, and there's an evolution from singing with the end goal of something horizontal and transactional in the moment to something that's been cultivated between you and God, so that it can be authentic ministry that moves others to something.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Yes.
Each grand sleeve.
Yes.
It's a journey. It's very personal. So this is not meant to be. It's a journey we're all on at varying levels, at varying points on the journey. But music ministry, in the same way that preaching, in the same way that everything else, it is intended to point people towards God, whether it's a recognition of His goodness, whether it's encouragement that He will, for whatever situation you're facing. But we have to, at some point, transcend beyond singing so that someone can tell me I sound good.
That's right. Sean, I would add to what you're sharing. There's a scholar, Dr. Raymond Wise, who studies and teaches African and African American sacred and secular music all over the world, and he has this framework that he once taught us at a music conference we were at years ago, where he said there are 3 levels to singing. The first is learning the notes and rhythms.
Yeah.
The second level is approaching the music with a sense of understanding, having studied the text, having really studied the dynamics of the music, and when we're singing forte versus piano and how it connects to the text. He said then the third level is sanctified singing, where you've invested so much time in the first 2 levels that when you show up to worship and to worship experience on the Sabbath, that is already in your body. So you are actually showing up to be a minister, to allow that to flow through you so that it can move others. The overflow is the ministry in practice.
Yeah, and here's the thing about that. Here's what I believe that requires, right? That is a reflection of whatever relationship with God that you are cultivating in your own personal time. It requires that. And it requires the technical work so that is a muscle that you've already built that is activated innately when you're singing. So that I don't have to wonder if I'm breathing. I don't have to wonder if I'm supported. I can be focused on my ministry because I've been building my support as a muscle because I practice, because I warm up. So I'm not. We can't compartmentalize the two. But I think if we, and then I think about soloists especially because I know that there are so many that are coming up that are doing great things, and I think this is something that can really empower your ministry because it is yours. And I think and to that point of it being yours, another journey that I'm on, I don't just sing anything that somebody wants me to sing unless I'm in a place where I'm hired or where somebody wants something very specific for me. But you need to have a connection to words.
Know your voice,
right? You need to have a connection to the words that you are singing so that it can speak to you and you can minister it in the way that it speaks to you. And I think this is something else that culturally, we in Kagasak, we have a rich legacy of singers. We have a rich past. And we have an affinity for that past. And that's not a bad thing. It should be celebrated. It should be remembered. It should be honored. And I don't want this to be misinterpreted. But sometimes that shows up as wanting up-and-coming singers to emulate, mimic what has been done in the past.
Yeah.
And I can recall as a very young singer knowing that I couldn't do that. I just remember it so vividly of being like, and there were singers that I idolized.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me to running down the list. Like, there were singers that I studied.
Yes, sir.
Willie Smith, Evangelist Moses Farah, the living legend, icons, Jimmy Dyson. There were singers that I knew their nuances,
Oma Gwen.
Yeah, all of these people. And even still, it got to a point where that was inspiration.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was information.
Yes.
But I had to find out what these songs mean to me and sing them accordingly. And I encourage every solo singer to figure that out. Spend some time with the lyrics that you are singing, understand the message of your song, and that it should also inform how you decide to sing it, right? Sometimes, and I'm guilty of this sometimes too, trust me, but sometimes a run don't make sense. Sometimes a run is not what's needed. Sometimes it's a lyric. Sometimes it's a sustained note. Like, what's the message I want to deliver with this phrase? Like, we have to evolve our singing to something deeper and something more meaningful, so that we're not reliant on tricks to make music. And that's true for solo singing and choral singing. Like, we're too reliant on the things, the pitch phrases, the repeats. We're reliant on things because we're not putting in the work to interpret and to understand and to make music. And I urge choristers and soloists alike to spend some time with what you're singing and identify what it means to you, so that when you're singing or directing or ministering it, it's a reflection of something that's relational, because that's what will be to worship. It won't be, all that stuff is nice and it has its place, but something deeper and more meaningful has to be happening when you're singing.
I think, Matt, I would love to hear from you if you'll allow it, because I think you have a really unique way of connecting your singers to a song. And I think a lot of choristers have their unique flares about them, but with you, I feel like regardless of what we're singing, we're going to tap into like the crux, the heart of that song when you're standing before us. And so I'm just curious about if there's like a process, or if there's a way that you go about curating or fostering a relationship with the music.
Yeah. So I love that idea of curating the music. When you brought that up, Sean, I put that on. I wrote that on my list here. I'll honestly say that there really is no secret other than what you all have been talking about today. All right. Spending time with, I would be doing, I feel personally, my own personal journey, that I would be doing a disservice to the music, to the singers, to the spirit of the day, if I did not walk with this thing daily, right? And if I did not take time with it daily, right? The Lord didn't bless me, with the voices that you all have. He blessed me with, decent ear. Right. He blessed me with the ability to harmonize, and he allowed me to be around people that help to cultivate, right, that innate gift. But the relationships that you build with people, and the relationships that you're then able to build and connect with the music is important. Yeah. And that includes people that I never physically met. Right? I never physically sat down with Virginia Bridie. I never physically sat down with St. Beatrice Plummer. I was separated from Elder Stevenson by cognitive time. I was here, but cognitively, I was not aware, right? He passed when I was 5 years old, right? So I didn't have the chance to sit down and talk with him. So that means I have to spend time in the center of my silence, walking the dog, whatever it is, communing with those spirits so that I can try to feel what the Lord gave them in that moment Sean, right? And then when the Lord reveals something new in that song in 2026, it may not necessarily be the same thing that he gave to them 50, 60, 70 years ago. And then the other piece of that is that when it comes time for the Lord to reveal something to me that's brand new, I cannot try to pigeonhole what the Lord gave to me to make it sound like Virginia Wright.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
I have to be honest into what the Lord gave me in 2026 and put it out as the Lord gave it to me. So it's a very, the weight and the responsibility of it is immense. And I also think that, you know, being I use the word critical. I'm my own worst critic. I hate listening back to things that I've done or things like it's difficult, but sometimes you have to in the spirit of learning and growing, right?
That's right.
Because you can't really you have to be if you're not your own worst critic, something is wrong. It's a my humble opinion, right? If somebody else has to be the one that's kind of pushing you to be better and things like that, something is wrong, right? I cannot have a narcissistic approach to music. I just can't. That's not fair to the music. That's not fair, especially in this realm, right? Especially in this realm. So, that's the best. There's no real secret sauce or anything like that. There's a lot of culminating factors that just kind of help to produce, you know, the sound. And I do, like I said, feel the weight of the moment, right? Understanding what the moment calls for, and every moment calls for something different. Calls for something different, and I cannot necessarily do the same, interpret the song the same way yesterday that I'm going to interpret it.
That's right.
And that's okay, right? You have to let the song speak for itself, and song speak for itself, speak to that moment. But you would have had to have done the work beforehand, so that you can understand what the moment calls for.
There is something to that. Can I speak to that a little bit? Something about being in the moment. I think that there's so often, I can't remember whether it was Sean who mentioned this before, just about kind of repeating what you've heard, repeating the same word over and over again, or the same line or something like that, because it worked before. Because it got people excited before, or because it got a good response before. Like, sometimes you have to just be authentic to the moment. And that's not going to sound the same every time. It's just not. It's not. If I I can sing the same song every single day, but it's going to sound different every day because I'm different every day. Because something about it is going to hit me differently every day. Because it's going to, I'm going to make a connection to something that's happening today that didn't happen yesterday. Whatever the situation is, I think that we have to allow spontaneity back into our music and not have everything so planned out. But I do think, more to what you said before, the point you made before, is I believe that preparation is what frees us up for artistry.
Yes.
You prepare, and then you let go and just let whatever happens happen. But you got to do the groundwork.
It's almost like the preparation is what lets you trust yourself.
Absolutely.
And others. And others.
And others.
And others. There is nothing better. I think Mo, you touched on this earlier, and this we're going to kind of wrap things up. You talked about, you know, how the rehearsed choir during concert time sounds different, right? Because we have leaned into flex that rehearsal muscle so much that a lot of those hopefully good habits that we're developing in rehearsal are carrying over. And I think that's important for us as choristers, right? The notes, all that stuff, but we also have to get into of creating good habits and practicing good habits in our rehearsals, which means from a chorister standpoint, yes, I have to. So Zion is a Tuesday evening tabernacle, right? We've been Tuesday evening for as long as St. Raquel and I have been the head choristers there. And that, yes, it's difficult, right? But on Sunday, I'm already thinking about what Tuesday is going to have to look like, right? What's the objective? You're never going to find us coming into a rehearsal unprepared with something, right? That's unacceptable. For me, for Brother Matthew Caldwell, I cannot come into rehearsal. I have to have a certain agenda that we're going to get to, and we're going to not only sometimes it notes, sometimes it's doing a review of the song, a lyric study, right?
That's right.
We have to do marches and everything like that, but we need to really spend some quality time with those rehearsals. So what St. Rachel mentioned at the beginning, falling back in love with rehearsal and setting time apart from Sabbath day is so key. But we've been singing from 9 to 1 o'clock, and then we have to have rehearsal. I understand it. Bodies are there. But again, what are we doing Sunday through? Bodies are tired. We want a nap, right?
And your body is your instrument. Your body is tired. Your body is your instrument.
I would make the plug. Those 7:30 a.m. rehearsals on the Sabbath day. Just stick with me, okay?
Yeah, yes, sir.
7:30 to, I think we would do like 8:40 or something like that. Then we would set up donuts and coffee in the back. Folks would change their uniforms. My experience with that in Newark was that we were experiencing less bad habits vocally. We had already warmed our voices up.
That's it.
We were already used to singing with each other. Less bad habits, and also, I think that how that translates to what we're talking about is a lot of the bad habits, or maybe they're not bad habits, but idiosyncrasies that we fall into vocally, I think come from the fact that a lot of us are warming up during I Love and opening of Sabbath school, and it's not as intentional. But those Sabbath morning rehearsals, it produced a different sound, like it was a different group of singers.
I believe it.
And I know they done that in Boston and other tabernacles. So choristers, just give it a shot. Maybe one Sabbath per quarter. See if the singers show up. And
it's going to take some sacrifice. And Sean, you said you mentioned work ethic. I mean, this is work. The Lord has given us all gifts, talents, like we talked about earlier. But we have to, the way that we can thank the Lord for that gift. Yes. Spending time to make it as pristine and take it to the next level, right? The Lord gave us a natural gift, right? And the way that I can truly honor that gift and thank the Lord for it is to not leave it at the level that He gave it to. He's given us the ability to make it shine even more, but it's going to take the sacrifice, it's going to take the work ethic, it's going to take a little courage, all right, to separate yourself, from some of the other worldly things, but ultimately we just have to, find time to do it.
If the word is the clue, you can find the tune. Song Association.
All right, Lounge family. So you heard the jingle. It is now time for the wonderful part of our episode called Song Association. And since we have, for her debut episode and her debut portion of Song Association, we're going to start with St. Rachel here. So St. Rachel, what we do in the Song Association, we give a couple of words and just see what comes from your musical mind when you hear these words. So first word that I have for you is the word glory. What song comes to mind when you hear the word glory?
The song from the movie Salem that Common composed. Oh, glory, glory, dun, 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 glory. Yeah, that one comes to mind.
That's a good one. Does anything else come to mind?
To God be the glory. To God be the glory. To God be the glory for the things He has done.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. And yes. All right, so I'm going to slide on over to Brother Sean here. Sean, if I give you the word, I'm going to give you a phrase. Ever since
Oh gosh. Okay. I see. Ever since I've been living in this world of sin, yes, I've had my trials almost every day. But there is something more or less to destroy my happiness. And that's how I've come all the way.
Lord have mercy. See, that's the thing when you got singers, man. That's Lord have mercy.
I'm gonna be lip syncing by the time y'all get to me.
Lord, I'm so glad I don't have to sing, right? I'm so glad I
I
don't have
might
to
be
sing.
lip syncing with Mo.
So, Saint Shani,
Yes.
coming your way. If I were to give you the word city, city, does anything come to mind?
Well, last night I lay sleeping, there came a dream so fair. I stood in old Jerusalem, beside the temple there. Is that what we're talking about?
That is beautiful. Yes, ma'am. Beautiful. Do you want to give us any more?
Say that's all we get.
Jerusalem, Jerusalem, hark how the angels sing, Hosanna in the highest, Hosanna to your King.
Well done. Well done. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, brother Mo. If I give you the word best, what song comes to mind?
The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. That's a Faith Harmony classic.
Oh,
Yes, it
yeah.
is.
Hey.
Thank you, brother Mo, for planting that song back in my mind. I appreciate that.
I thank you all for auto tuning my piece. Thank you so very much.
It's gorgeous, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so back to Saint Rachel. If I give you the word blessing, does anything come to mind?
For he has brought me all the way, and he keeps me day by day. Will always remain the same. Oh, what a blessing. We gonna hold it right there.
Well done. Well played. Well played, Saint Rach. Well played. Well played. All right, brother Sean. If I give you the word love, what comes to mind? Love.
I really love the Lord. I really love the Lord. You don't know what He's done for me. He gave me the victory. I love him. Oh, I truly love him. I love the Lord.
Yes, sir. Yes,
right,
sir.
Amen.
So keeping in the theme of love, Saint Shani, if I give you the word heart, does anything come to mind? Heart. Soul, heart, soul. Either one. Heart or soul.
You may have stumped me. Hold on. Okay, it's not that I can't think of a song with heart or soul. I'm trying to figure out which song you're thinking of.
Whatever song comes to your mind is fine with me.
Okay, so when I think of the word soul, honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is India Ari's Soul Bird Rise. I absolutely love that song, especially the very beginning where she says, I believe in open doors. I've taken off the screen. I'm ready to let the world come inside and touch my life. That's a beautiful song. Soul Bird Rise is the first thing that came to mind.
Beautiful. That was all right. It shows our depth and complexity as singers. I love that. I love our versatility. That's beautiful. All right, so Brother Mo, I think you're going to drop the rear for this song association.
Okay.
So the word that came to mind, if I give you the word rejoice, what comes to mind?
Rejoice, O daughters of Jerusalem, for this is your day. May the presence of the God of Abraham or Israel be with you always. Is that Brother Bofer?
I believe it is Brother Bofer. Yes, sir.
He wrote that for
Yes, sir.
the daughters, right?
Correct. Yes, sir. Now I was thinking of another Brother Bo song that has the word rejoice in it.
Oh, this is the place.
Come on now.
Where God shall dwell. This is the place we love so well. Oh wait, that's not even the right verse.
You're on
Now let us. Oh wow, when does rejoice happen?
Thank God for His mercy. No, that's the other one.
That's
the other one.
So you could have went this is the place, so let us all rejoice.
Oh, rejoice. Now let us.
Praise
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Brother Bo has some rejoice songs
for
you. For you. All right. So that was our song association family. So we appreciate you going on that musical journey with us with these wonderful singers. Just kind of tap into their musical memory, their musical mind to bring out these gems. So we certainly appreciate them for taking us on that journey with them. So kind of as we're wrapping up, I just kind of want to go around the room for any last comments, anything from like I said that we haven't had a chance to kind of touch on. Any good, I know St. Chantrice gave us the throat coat tea, and I went on right after it was over, and I bought some, and I'm still drinking it to this day, right? So are there anything from that vantage point, anything from things that we're ingesting that we may want to stay away from, or things that you think will kind of help strengthen our instrument, right? This natural instrument. Anything you want to give us kind of to close out? So St. Shane, I see you had your hand raised, so I'll start with you.
I already have a few things already came to me. The first thing, since you mentioned the throat coat tea, y'all, I want to say it was a couple Sabbaths ago, I decided during break that it was a perfect time for me to eat a bagel with cream cheese. And for the rest of the day, I was struggling. Y'all, it makes a difference. It makes a difference what you eat before you sing. That dairy just it was terrible. The whole rest of the day I was struggling. But I would also say this, not just, being mindful of what you're eating right before you sing, but also, kind of changing your approach to singing, right? If you think of your body as your instrument, or your body as if you're an athlete or whatever, you're going to train differently for a marathon than you would for a sprint. And I think a lot of our singing is designed for sprinting and not marathons. We're not really taking into account longevity. We're not really taking into account stamina. We're not really taking into account endurance or how long you'll be able to use that voice.
Yeah.
There are two schools of thought. I know that there are. There's that one school of thought that believes, oh, well, you're just supposed to give up everything, give it all to God, give it all up. Sing your hardest. We've all heard, the if I sing my voice away, God will renew it in the coming day.
Renew it in the coming day. Yeah.
Y'all,
where's that from?
I've never heard that, by the way.
Y'all,
never heard it.
That is one of I cringe. I cringe. You would not do that to a gift that someone gave you that you value.
Yeah.
That's like, how they talk about riding a horse hard and putting them away wet. No, you wouldn't do that if so it's like you're not taking care.
You're showing your age. You're showing your age.
Okay. You see my shirt?
Somewhere.
You see my shirt?
Wait, I would love to maybe just speak, Shan, if you don't mind. I would love to speak maybe just to the choir directors, the choristers, an encouraging kind of final word from me would be to, if you know you are going to be directing for a service, spend time with the service, with the actual ceremony book, the Siddur. Yes, have your favorites and your classics and the things that work for your choir, but also take some time to think about the life and the body of the service, right? Are you doing showstoppers from start to finish? Are you giving your singers a more dynamic and balanced repertoire for that Sabbath? Is it relevant to the moment? Is it relevant to the prayer or the prayerful speech that is surrounding that song? You can take some time and really engage in artistry by doing that. It's a very creative process that I actually came to enjoy over time, and realizing that I can't just do all my favorites every Sabbath. I have to think about the idea that I am now a music minister along with the other ministers of music that I'm conducting. So I encourage you to tap into that artistic process and enjoy it.
I love it. Sean, what you got?
I will jump in. We're talking about things that singers need to be doing to preserve ourselves. Drink the water, people.
Yes.
Why are you not drinking water?
This is water, y'all. This is water.
Singers, this is my camera. Water. Y'all out here drinking Sprite and Dr. Pepper.
Oh,
Simply lemonade instead of water, and I don't understand. We gotta drink water.
And the powders inside the waters make it not water.
Not water. Oh, can you just say that again, Mo?
The liquid too, the liquid thingies.
Yeah, just please drink water all the time, every day.
Actual water.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Now, something else that I'll suggest as far as ingesting is knowing your body and paying attention to what happens within your body, which is not the same as everyone else's body. I know that my sinuses are sensitive. It's nothing for me to deal with swelling and inflammation. I take a ginger shot every day. That's just something that I do that I've noticed when it comes to my breathing and when it comes to not feeling inflamed. That has helped me. So if that's something that you wrestle with, I would recommend that. I think Chantrice made a valid point around being mindful of what we... There are certain things that are just not good for us to eat as singers and when it's time to sing. So don't do that. And then I think lastly, there are some things... I'm not a big, cough drop candy person. That's just me. I don't know the science behind that, so I'm not going to try to get into that because I ain't no doctor. And I don't know what happens in the voice when you're doing all those things. What I will say that I have been using from time to time is a throat spray, just to help me with like hydration and keeping my vocal cords lubricated. They have something called a singer's throat spray that's pretty great. They have some other different versions. That might be something to look into. Pay attention to the ingredients. Usually the ingredients will tell you the story of how it's going to impact your voice. So I would suggest that, but please drink the water. Please.
Drink the water. We need it.
Best throat spray out there that I've encountered, Singer's Saving Grace. That is the name of the throat spray, Singer's Saving Grace. Look it up, Amazon, whatever.
Consider it done. Consider it done. Absolutely.
I also love Fisherman's Friend. Rachel, you know, Fisherman's Friend. For some reason, it works 100% better than a cough drop or something like that. It is menthol, but it really, really helps, especially if you have issues with mucus or dryness, anything like that. It really helps. They're not candy, and they don't taste like candy, but they work.
And being careful when using menthol because it numbs certain parts of the voice that you use, and you can end up over singing to compensate for not feeling it.
Absolutely.
Rachel, what about you? Anything?
Yeah, so for me, two things. When it comes to what I put in my body, like we said, everyone is different. I'm really like old school. I don't take nothing no more. I don't take no medicine. I don't even take the fisherman's anymore, Chantrice. I don't. Water is my best friend. But to the part that Chantrice was talking about earlier about rest, it's very important. So if I'm not a person that gets sick often, but I find myself hoarse a lot. So if I feel it coming on, I just stop talking completely. Like I don't whisper, I don't use anything. And sometimes that's what rest means. It means don't talk at all. If you got a text, do something. I mean, if you're at that point, because it can lead to medical issues, it can lead to strep, it can lead to things that are just not necessary. You can catch these things early on with the things God has naturally given us, like water, right? Rest, they're just basic, key, important things. And overall, I would just to wrap things up, I would just encourage our singers, our choristers, our union choir, and at large, whatever you took from this session, I would just encourage everyone to start somewhere. If you feel that there is a lack somewhere, whether it's with your voice or with the Bible or connecting with your chorister on a local level or striving to get back in the choir, learning a new section or whatever it is, just start somewhere. If you have the spirit of the earnestness, contending for the faith and all those good things that we talk about, we have to start somewhere. It's not about where we were. It's not about where we're going. It's now. And the time is now. It's so imperative that we see the necessity of the things that we need to get our choir, to the level that we know it can be, that we want it to be. And it takes us to, as a committee of one, to just encourage ourselves to do better. So I encourage everyone to do better, but I encourage myself to do better. It's been almost 3 years off the choir. I'm gonna get that uniform. I'm gonna get back in the choir. I'm gonna learn a little baritone this time. I'm just encouraged. I'm so encouraged, to just, do. I am coming back, guys, but it's gonna take a little time. But I'm just really encouraged. Yes,
in the Choristers Lounge, you heard it here first.
It's taking nothing from my dirt, So just stay encouraged. We gonna get there. We're gonna get there, and I'm just encouraged by you all every day, every day. So that's my little 3.
Every word of that.
All of that.
Yes. I don't think that we could have closed on a better word of encouragement. So I want to thank you all for the time that you spent here in the lounge. Thank you all for being patient with me and my little dog over here who was trying to make her appearance. She's trying to get her vocal wellness on.
There you go.
But we really just appreciate, your expertise, your love, your commitment to the choir. And just everything that you all gave today was certainly invaluable, right? I don't know if we could have paid you all, to give us what you all gave us from your perspective. And of course, the Lounge family, like St. Rachel said, let's start somewhere, right? The future is bright, but it's going to take us to really make ourselves a committee of one, to really make this the best version of the choir that can possibly be, right? Mm-hmm. But we can do it. All right, we have everything that we need. We're really just a mindset away. And I really do believe with individuals like the panel that's here today, and more individuals that have training out there, if we really put it in our hearts and minds to take it from where we are to the next step forward, we'll be just fine in the days and the weeks and the years to come. But we're going to be just fine. And I'm just asking Lord to bless all of us, bless you all. Again, thank you all just for spending a little time with us here in the lounge. Lounge family, spread the good news and glad tidings of joy. This panel will be back. So when you see their faces again, you know that you're going to get some wonderful advice just in how we're going to really perfect this musical craft. So with that said, Brother Sean, St. Chantrice, St. Rachel, Brother Mo, thank you all for the time here. Lounge family, thank you all for tuning in. With that, we'll bid you a good evening. God bless and keep you is my prayer.
Peace, peace.
Sharing the things important to you. Come on in and sit on down. Listen as we break it down.